Holiday season is upon us, and the 2022 calendar year has come to a close in the world of Canadian mixed martial arts. It is therefore time for me to present to you my year end list for the year 2022. This is my favorite time of the year, and we're starting things off today with my moment of the year, which is pretty self explanatory. It's my favorite moment of the year. The favorite thing that happened this year is going to be ranked top 10 today. And I just got to say before I start that when I do these lists, I always try to be as unbiased as possible. But for that list, it's pretty much impossible because you got some fighters that you just got a bigger emotional connection to, or you just know them personally. And there's other guys that I don't know personally, that I never met, that I never spoken to. And of course, the guys that I know, the guys that I've met, the guys that I'm invested in, they're going to create bigger moments for me as I am invested in them. It's only natural. So it's probably the only list that I'm going to do that I'm a little bit biased in. So I wanted to get it out the way first off before we move on to all the other exciting lists I got for you this year. So let's go ahead and start things off with the honorable mentions, as I always do. And they go as follows. Tim Smith and Curtis Demarce going to war in Calgary. Yohan Lainesse getting his first UFC win. Jesse Ronson coming back to BDC with a huge win. Frédéric Dupras becoming a star in Quebec in the main event of Samourai MMA. Vlad Kazbekov knocking a UFC veteran out in 18 seconds. And finally, Joe Ramsay becoming the owner of Club Soda in Montreal. Let's move on with the list. And at number 10, I've got the big cat, Jesse Arnett, who is literally a cat. I believe he's probably not even a human. The guy is a cat because he has 9 lives. Every time you think Jesse Arnett is done, that you've seen the better of Jesse Arnett, you've seen his better days, and now he's only going down from here. He always comes up with something new, something exciting, and he wins a fight, and you're there. You just don't understand what happened. And like one of his other lives just came in. He's on live 5 or live 6. We don't even know. But basically, Jesse Arnett, some people thought that he was down and out after he lost that Parouche fighting championship, which was a very tough loss for him. And he was able to come back to UAE Warriors against an undefeated Russian prospect. And everybody was looking at that matchup like, Jesse Arnett always takes the toughest fights, but that's not a fight that he's going to win, doesn't he? He's going to get out-wrestled. He's going to get out-struck. And it's absolutely the opposite that happened. He out-wrestled his opponent. He outstruck his opponent. He defeated him, ended him his first pro loss, and secured the title shot in the process. So what a fight by Jesse Ronson. What a moment. I was so happy for him. And that's why I got it at number 10. Let's go to number 9 right now with Brad Katona winning the Brave CF Championship. I never understood why Brad Katona isn't in the UFC anymore. It's just a travesty that he got cut. And fortunately enough for him, he was able to secure a contract with Brave CF, which is one of the better international promotions in the world, which always gives good opposition to the guys that are fighting there. And he was able to have some success, fight for the belt, and win the belt. He's now the champion. He brought the back belt to Canada. Well, figuratively, because he kind of lives in Ireland now, but you know what I meant. Brad Katona, newest Canadian champion in 2022. It was an amazing moment, and that's why I got it at number 9. Let's continue with belts in Canada. As number 8 is Corinne Laframboise, who was able to secure the UAE Warriors title against a very tough opponent. Superb submission win for her. And it's another fighter who at a point had a record, I think, of 5-4 or something like that. Like, we weren't quite sure what was going on with Corinne, and I don't want to say that she was going nowhere, but she was having tougher moments in her career, let's say it like that. And she was able to turn it all around last year, fight some great opponents, get some wins, and get to the title shot for UAE Warriors, which is another one of the great international promotions. And like I said, she defeated her opponent. She won the belt. She's now the champion. She's as close as ever to the UFC, and we're very, very happy for her. Corinne Laframboise winning the UAE Warrior title is my number 8. Let's go to number 7 now. Shane Campbell, Prepolec. And it's rare that outside of the UFC, outside of the biggest promotion, you just see the number one and number two guy fighting each other. It's tough. Most of these guys in Canada, they try, yes, to fight good competition, but maybe from outside so that it can boost their profile and maybe make them beat an American opponent that the UFC knew or had on their radar. It's usually the way that the Canadian fighters go about in moving up. That means that we don't often see the best guys in each division just fighting each other for the title or just in a fun super fight like Shane Campbell and Cal Prepolec did. And just the fact that this matchup was made, it was an amazing moment for me, and the fight absolutely delivered. So I just gotta put it there at number 7. Two of my favorite fighters, two of the best in the country going toe to toe. It was such an amazing moment. But not as crazy as Strahinja Gavrilovic facing KB Bhullar at Unified 43. It was like, Strahinja, the guy always comes forward, and KB Bhullar sometimes can have some slower fights where he's on his back foot and he's jabbing and kicking a lot and he's not really letting his hands go. But you know that a madman like Strahinja was going to bring the best out of KB, and that's what he did. KB had an amazing performance. Strahinja won the heart of every fan in the audience. It was a crazy brawl, a slugfest for the ages, and I'll remember this fight for quite a long time. That's why I got it at number 6 on my moments of the year list. Number 5 is a UFC debut. Proper Mike came in against Mickey Gall, which is a guy we've seen for a while in the UFC, and he knocked him the fuck out in the first round. It was absolutely amazing. Mike Malott is a guy that we've been waiting for. Like, he took a short break, well, short, not that short, but he took a break for from MMA. We didn't know if he was gonna come back or whatever, but he came back for CFFC, had some good fights, went to the Contender Series, was able to get the contract, came in against a known opponent, and just knocked him out in the very first round. It was such a great moment. That's why I got it in the top 5 of my favorite moments of the year. Then Jourdain Barriault, first round guillotines finish, same night. I think it was 2 fights back to back on the main card. It was absolutely amazing. Barriault submitting Jordan Wright, which is the most surprising of the 2 guillotines. Let's say like that. Marc-André Barriault, he's a bruiser, he's a striker. The guy wants to hurt his opponents. He wants to get into a brawl. He's not really known for his submission prowess, but was able to get the submission win over Jordan Wright. And then Charles Jourdain coming in and just storming Lando Vannata's castle, submitting him, making him lose his shorts in the process. We all remember that. So it was such an amazing moment for a Quebecois fan like I am to see both of our UFC fighters just get some first round finishes by guillotine back to back on an amazing event. It was a great moment. But let's move on with the top 3. At that number 3, I can't give them fight of the year because it lasted 11 seconds. So I got to put them somewhere, in its ear. 3 knockdowns, 11 seconds. I think the title says it all. Robert Serrais, Kevin Généreux just came out swinging and they dropped each other. And Robert Serrais was the first one back up and he threw a punch while standing up and he knocked Généreux back down and was able to finish him. Like I said, fight lasted 11 seconds. So it's impossible for me to say, oh, it's the fight of the year or something like that. But it was an electric moment in the main event of Samourai MMA 2, and I'll never forget it. I had the chance to call this fight with my homie James Mancini. It was absolutely crazy, and that's why I got it at number 3 on my list. Number 2, Olivier Aubin-Mercier wins $1 million by knockout in the PFL finals. Man, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Olivier Aubin-Mercier, the Canadian gangster, has been doing everything he could for Canadian MMA, has been representing us in the UFC, in the PFL. The PFL pretty much did everything they could to try to screw Oli. They gave him the toughest fights. They did everything for him to not qualify for the playoffs. And he's so good that he beat everybody, was able to make his way to the finals. And everybody was saying, the final is kind of his easiest fight of the season. Like, he fought Nathan Schultz, he fought Rauch Manfio, he fought other Canadian Alexander Martinez, who was absolutely amazing too. So Stevie Ray was kind of his easiest matchup, and he just knocked him out. First time in his career that he knocks a guy out with one punch like that. So amazing moment. And you're probably asking yourself right now, like, how the hell is that not number 1? But man, I gotta give him to my boy Charles Jourdain for the number one. Third round Jourdain, new mythical fighter against Shane Burgos. And yes, the Oli knockout was absolutely amazing, was surprising. I was happy, I was hyped. We spoke about it for weeks and weeks after with my friend group, and everybody was talking about this moment. But there's not one single moment this year where I was freaking the fuck out more than when Charles Jourdain came out round three against Shane Burgos and just started putting him on him. And you saw that Burgos, who is the guy who does that to people, was getting it done on himself and was not having any fun, was pretty much looking for a way out or looking for the fight to end because like he didn't want to take any more of it. And it's the moment where, man, I was freaking out. Charles Jourdain, our guy from Quebec, from Belleuil, he basically lives like 15 minutes away from my house. And the guy was there in Long Island fighting a top 15 guy in the world and proving that not only he belonged there, but he was able to beat those guys. So what a moment. That third round, I'll remember it forever. And that's why I had no choice but to put it as my moment of the year in the world of Canadian MMA. So that's it for the first list, guys. There'll be some lists coming pretty much every day until I'm done. There's like, say, 10 to 15 categories. So for the next 10 to 15 days, there'll be lists every day. Like and subscribe if you liked and you want to subscribe. If you don't want to, I can understand. It's okay. I'm not forcing anybody, but thanks for listening. See you tomorrow with a new list.